Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning for the Finance Committee. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll start this morning with public comment. If there's anyone from the public that wishes to comment this morning. Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Halstead, supported by Commissioner Oliver King. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes. That takes us to our special order of business this morning, the Fiscal Services Annual Report.
Thanks, Taylor. Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Thanks for having me here today. I'm here to go over Fiscal Services Annual Performance Measurement Review. This will follow the typical format that you are used to. Okay, so we're going to align with the alignment with board priorities, strategic goals, key performance metrics, accomplishments, and a look ahead. So we will move right into it. So this is the mission statement of Fiscal Services. Provides serves all county departments and other local units of government. In doing so, our government indirectly supports all of the board's priorities that we listed earlier. Fiscal Services, if you don't know, is made up of 5 different divisions. Accounting, you can see our org chart here has 16 employees, budget has 3, purchasing division has 7 employees, risk management 2, and then fleet has 7. And fleet management, we'll talk about them in a little bit, includes all patrol vehicle setup, so all their MDTs and all that electronics in the cruisers, our fleet services takes care of all of those types of things. Moving right into our priorities, or our strategic goals. So our strategic goal 1 is to provide accurate and timely vendor payments. You can see our number. We had 53,686 invoices in 2025 for $652.2 million. 99.97 of those were processed on time and without error. So doing a very good job in issuing AP invoices. Moving on to our next strategic goal, provide efficient and accurate payroll services. Kent County is a little unique. Payroll resides in fiscal services and not in HR, so we maintain those services. The payroll team issued 54,397 payroll checks, totaling $217.4 million in gross pay for the county. So a lot of money going through payroll each and every year. As you know, it's our largest part of our budget. So $100.2 million is net pay, and 99.95% of those were processed on time and without error. Moving on to strategic goal 3, to provide timely budget amendment services. In 25, the budget division processed 699 budget amendments, which seems like a lot, but inside those, there's a lot of additional lines totaling over 1,000 lines of budget amendments throughout the year. FY23 was a shorter 9-month fiscal year, so a little lower number. And FY24 was a little higher due to our conversion to our new Advantage Financial 4 system, which required some duplication of some of the entries. So. And 100% of those were processed on time and without error. Our next strategic goal is to encourage participating in county purchasing. This is one of our main goals. Purchasing division issued 146 solicitations, averaging 5.2 respondents per solicitation, so which is very, very good. We try to make the process very simple and registration of our vendors very simple to get the most participation that we can. 146 solicitations maybe not sound like a lot, but obviously we have a lot of master agreements, standing POs, and other items like My Deal, the state program that we do purchases off from as well. Moving on to fleet, to provide efficient and effective vehicle maintenance. 95% of our vehicles throughout the county are on our fleet preventative maintenance schedule. There's 327 vehicles or pieces of equipment that our fleet facilities maintains. And this includes buses, specialized vehicles for the sheriff. There's a fueling station there. And as I mentioned previously, they work on all of the installs for all the cruisers, putting in all the equipment that's used daily by our officers. Risk management, as I mentioned earlier, is also under fiscal services. So we facilitate a robust return to work program. We have a new risk manager this year, Stephanie retired after 25 years with the county, Stephen Lynn, along with, we have a new support person, and they're also going to support the new insurance authority. So we had 160 workers' comp claims at an average cost of $9,512. Work comp functions on a calendar year. And the average cost of the claim includes medical, indemnity, and other expenses. 22 was lower due to COVID remote work, and 23 was high. We had 6 very large cases, of which 3 are still remaining outstanding that we're working to resolve at this point. Significant accomplishments. State law requires all local units of government complete an audit within 180 days, 6 months of their close of their fiscal year. We're happy to report our September 30, 2024, we had a clean, unmodified audit opinion, which you heard the presentation earlier this year. We also try to achieve the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, which is the highest award that the state provides, and we've done that for 24 consecutive years. So that's always something we strive to attain. Additional significant accomplishments, of course, this presentation wouldn't be complete without mentioning our AAA bond rating. This is our 27th consecutive year of maintaining those with Moody's and Standard & Poor's. We're only one of 3 counties in the state of Michigan and one of 112 in the United States. So there's 3,143 counties across the U.S. So that puts us in the top 3% of AAA rated counties. And obviously this allows us to borrow at the lowest possible borrowing costs. Advantage 4 is another significant accomplishment. This was kind of done behind the scenes. We did an upgrade to our ERP. It was successful. There's always a few bumps along the way. But this is the 4.0 version only will do updating containers throughout the year, so another full implementation will never be required. However, there's different functions to it that we're still working on. We finished all the report finalization. We converted it from the old reporting system from Pentaho to more of a AI type report, so where we can generate anything we need to do. Our annual close was done successfully in the second year. We're moving right now to put in RQS submission, which budget checks all of our POs and purchase items, which we haven't had in the past. There's additional functionality also on P-card processing that we can bring in those files from the banks directly, so we're working on that. Travel and reimbursement, we want to fully implement that. We're hopefully eventually can take a picture of your receipts and those will upload into the system. And then fixed assets, we want to roll out from our current version of Sage into CGI. So a few of us just attended their national conference last week. So there's a lot of new functionality. We included our HR team this year. So we continue to advance the functionality of our ERP system, which we use throughout the county. Fleet Services upgraded to a Pro software, which allows remote entering of work orders for all the sheriff's deputies mainly. So that has added efficiencies, and they can do that from anywhere. Additionally, you guys approved in the capital plan a fuel island at the North County facility, so that will provide additional time savings and cost efficiencies so those deputies don't have to drive down here to refuel. And then the fiscal year change went fairly smoothly. 9/30 was our first, of 23 was our first year end at 9/30. So last year was our first full year, so this year provided us with a full comparison year to year with our 9/30 transition. So this has saved us money with additional, we always had a 3-month lag in our reporting with some of the health funds for those first 3 months, but now everything's on the same fiscal year and we align with the state of Michigan. So. And lastly, I'm sorry, I got 2 more slides. I mentioned previously the Risk Insurance Authority was approved in September by the state of Michigan after a long process. We went live with that on 10/1 in our reporting system, and that actually requires an audit every year for 120 days, so a little shorter time frame than 180 days. So we'll be working to attain a financial advisor, an auditor, and also an actuary for the required reporting for the state of Michigan on that. And unlike the feds, we did adopt our budget on August 28th on time, and it's balanced, so that's a good thing. And then looking ahead, again, we're looking for a clean, unmodified audit opinion. We're currently preparing the 9/30 of 25 work papers right now. Financial reporting award, continuing the AA bond rating, and the Risk Insurance Authority first full year of operation. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Fantastic, thank you. Are there any questions or comments this morning? Commissioner Stack.
Thank you, Chair Deal. So good morning.
Good morning.
Jeff. After 27 years, do we qualify for a Lifetime Achievement Award?
We should, right?
You know, that we don't have to do this every year?
I'll ask them.
There is no such thing. So seriously, a couple of years ago when we opened the facilities, the fleet facilities, one of the objectives was to kind of increase our efficiency in managing these vehicles all over. Do we have any assessment, analysis, or documentation of what kinds of efficiencies and the amount that we've been able to accomplish?
I'd have to get some specific numbers from them. Just anecdotally, you've been to the facility, I'm sure. So the access, just for our larger vehicles, especially some of the rapid response vehicles from the sheriff, our buses from KCIA, those were all able now to be safely lifted and repaired in-house. So that has created a lot of efficiencies where we don't have to bring those vehicles to a facility that can handle larger, heavier items. So, and just the flow in and out of that building has created efficiencies for sure for the fleet. But I can ask them if they have any additional.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful, because that's not the only circumstance where we've said we're going to invest a significant capital amount, because in the long run, this government can be more effective and more efficient. It'd be nice to be able to fall back and say, yeah, and here, I told you so.
Sure. I think a big piece of that, and I mentioned it a couple times, is our ability to install all of the equipment in the cruisers. If you ever looked at
Right.
one of those, the amount of stuff they maintain in there, and it's all got to fit together and work with the electronics. And we used to outsource some of that, so we have brought all that in-house, and that's created some great efficiencies for the sheriff. So.
Well, if it's available, that would be great. I don't want you to have to go through a significant reporting protocol that then makes you less efficient, but at least if it's there, it would be nice to see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. So yeah, thanks for this update and your performance measures. It's always good to see us continue to be the outstanding county that we are in terms of fiscal management. So I just had a question on the slide that you showed related to the workers' comp return to work program. I just wanted to kind of understand how that has impacted, what the program is, what it involves, and then two, how's the county been able to reduce the claim amounts? Is there some sort of programming that's facilitating this?
So we work exclusively for our workers' comp with a third-party provider. Protocol is if you're injured on the job, I'm on the right slide, is to go to Med1 to get an analysis immediately if you're injured on the job. And then from there on, we hand it off to a third-party administrator, and they do all the independent verifications for us. So, and we work directly with them on if someone can't or isn't able to perform the job they were used to perform, we'll work on either getting them new job placement and or other skills so they can be reemployed in another role if they can't be in the role they were in. So a lot of these happen in the jail. Obviously, there's a lot of activity that happens there that creates workers' comp claims. COVID was really high because a lot of people had COVID, and that was created, or that was considered a workers' comp claim. So it's mainly independent, third party with independent medical examinations, and all those things are all set up through that. So
That makes sense. And there was a big spike in 2023. What was that related to?
There's a couple big claims out there, and they're still pending. Some of them are where we haven't been able to reemploy the individual, so they've been off for a long time, and they've had some high medical costs, and we, of course, continue that ongoing payment. And right now, we're working to settle those cases and get those off from the workers' comp roll. So we do have outside third-party coverage for this too. If any claims exceed $700,000, those kick in. So that all works together for our entire program.
Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Chair. Couple quick comments. Jeff, 27 years for the AAA rating. You've been here about 6 now, so you're your time on that is growing. I know we toot our own horns about that a lot, but we might not give the staff the thanks, so we appreciate your leadership on that. Half serious comment on the Advantage 4.0 entire slide. This is why I'm really glad that we have professional staff that handle stuff out here that, I mean, this could be another language to me, that P-card, Sage is an herb, CGI is what makes movies look cool. So I appreciate you guys being on top of that. But the actual question I had, the 699 budget amendments, and this might be as much a question for Al as it is for you, but how does that work from a technical perspective? Is that just you guys processing as we go through? You know, we had this target, we ended up on closer to this estimate. That's just a lot of different, and I'm not suggesting anything nefarious at all. I just am trying to better understand that.
So most of these are intradepartmental transfers, where they'll run out of a budget in one line and need to move it to another, so it doesn't result in additional appropriation that the board or finance would have to approve. So it's mostly back-end processing to make sure the budgets are alignment. If it ever did exceed, or if a department ever did exceed appropriation, that's when we'd have to look to either have Al approve it or go to the finance, depending on the amount in the board. So it's mainly internal processing of line item changes intra-departments.
That's what I assumed, not a budget amendment in the way we would think of it in this
Correct.
room. It's, you're having to move things around within the departmental budget that we've
Exactly.
already appropriated.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff, I appreciate it.
Any other questions or Commissioner Stack?
You only get one.
Okay, so this one's to Al. Just a quick reminder, are we rolling workers' comp into the authority
No,
ever?
no. In fact, I'm not sure it's even allowed now.
It's not
I know
allowed,
that's
yeah.
how another county did it, and then they had to separate it out.
Okay.
So, right.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments this morning for Jeff? See none? Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my staff. By the way, Cameron Cannon is one I hired from external who's doing all of our ERP implementation. I worked with him at GR. He's great. So he's been doing a lot of these projects. And then you guys met Scott Sainin before and Keith, our budget director. So I'd like to thank all our staff. And Joni's here too, so our purchasing manager. So thank you.
Fantastic, thank you, and thank you for all the work you do. With that, we will move on to item 5, our agenda items. We'll start to move to the Community Action City of Wyoming Community Development Block Grant Agreement.
Yes. Action requested. Recommend the Board of Commissioners review and approve a one-year cooperative agreement between Kent County Community Action and the City of Wyoming to receive the city's FY 2026 Federal Community Development Block Grant funds. Summary. Federal CDBG funds are awarded to communities based on population, age of housing stock, and household income. Kent County receives approximately $1.6 million of CDBG funding annually from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Office of Community Planning and Development as an urban county entitlement community, operating community development programming through renewable 3-year municipal cooperative agreements in 33 of the 35 Kent County municipalities. The City of Wyoming has maintained a separate CDBG entitlement community status since 1976, independently operating its own CDBG-assisted programming. In recent years, the city received approximately $500,000 in CDBG funding annually. The City of Wyoming has decided to forego its CDBG entitlement community status due to increased costs of operating the program and ongoing decrease of the national CDBG program allocation. HUD has instructed Kent County and the City of Wyoming to execute a one-year cooperative agreement for Kent County to directly receive the calculated City of Wyoming FY26 CDBG allocation, and the City of Wyoming would become part of Kent County's urban county qualification area in FY 2027 and beyond. Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents as to form prior to signature.
Is there a motion for this item? Moved by Vice Chair McLeod, supported by Commissioner Steck. Questions or comments? Vice Chair McLeod.
Thank you. So that was a motion as well as, I had a question. So this is, I thought, when I was reading this previously, I thought that this was kind of interesting and just wanted a little bit of background on kind of why this change is being made, and I know that there's a little bit of information in here about that, but then also, what impact is this gonna have on Kent County if we're taking this over from the city who's been doing this for quite some time? Is there any additional liabilities? Are we gonna have to put more money in because they're not, doing the cooperative agreement in the same way? I just want a little bit of understanding of this.
I'll take part one and you can take part two. So part one, if a city or county that's of a certain size is eligible to become an urban entitlement county. In Kent County, historically, we've had the county and city of Grand Rapids and city of Wyoming who have had entitlement county or city status. Neighboring Ottawa County, they're not an entitlement county because the larger jurisdictions have decided, at least they weren't when I left, they've decided they can get more money by applying for economic development funds than they can if they were an entitlement county. And so basically in this case, I think with the dollars decreasing, costs of admin going up, I think Wyoming has basically decided that it makes more sense to throw the money into the pot and of the county entitlement status, and I think you're probably much better able to let us know the impact, Chad.
Sure. Good morning, Chad Kaufman, Community Development Program Manager within the Community Action Department. Yes, the county and the city of Wyoming have separately operated for a number of years, and Wyoming, if funding were sufficient, would successfully continue to operate the program. They've done a really good job. We've had a good partnership with the city of Wyoming for quite a while with our home grant funding. The city of Wyoming's programming, how they use CDBG funds, is fairly similar to how the county uses CDBG funds. We actually have a lot of overlap in the partnerships. We sign a contract with a nonprofit, they sign a contract with the same nonprofit to do similar actions. So there's not going to be a lot of transition in the way that we've operated in the past. The dollar amount has been roughly the same for city of Wyoming for the past 20 years, right around 500,000. Goes up 40,000, goes down 40,000, and similar for the county. We haven't seen increases in about 30 years in CDBG funding. So with rising costs, we're expecting to do about the same amount of volume. This actually opens up an opportunity for the city of Wyoming to apply for a partnership with CDBG, with county CDBG funds to do public infrastructure projects still in their community. So it's really just a cost efficiency thing that makes sense for both communities.
Just one quick follow-up. As you mentioned that there's the county and the city oftentimes will do the same work with the same entities. So will this allow there to be some streamlining, maybe some kind of efficiencies that could be gained from this happening from the county only and not from, duplicating efforts, I guess, because it seems like there could be some duplications with the way things were before. Would this help with that?
Certainly, the most basic efficiency is that we'd have one staff member instead of two separate staff members overseeing a contract with an individual nonprofit. So that's a clear efficiency to be gained with that, is that we'll still likely have 6 or 7 contracts that go out to nonprofits, but instead of another 4 or 5 contracts separately with the city of Wyoming, there would just be one individual overseeing those contracts.
That makes sense. And will our administrative costs increase because of this, or will it, what's the administrative sort of burden with doing this?
Sure. CDBG actually funds its own administrative costs, so about 20% of the grant is, actually 20% is the maximum amount that we can use for administrative costs. So we would end up taking on that funding and use it to cover any additional costs that are incurred from operating the additional size of the grant.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stack.
Thank you, Chair Teal. Following up on those questions, is the $500,000 that is now going to be absorbed by the county from the city, is that already allocated such that we are now taking on the responsibility to administer the programming they've already approved?
No, we're talking about the budget that's in discussion on the federal level right now. So right now, the federal level is in conversation about the fiscal year 2026, which the county and the city typically receive in July of the following, of the upcoming year. So the grant terms that we're talking about would be the award for July of 2026 and then going forward. So right now, the city of Wyoming is still operating and plans to operate its existing 2025 grant and any older funds. We would be taking on a partnership that would start effectively in July of 2025, and this is the preparation for that just months in advance.
Right, but there's no string saying, all right, if you take over this 500, here's what we want you to spend it on.
No, we have, we'll have some conversations with the city of Wyoming. We want this to be a smooth transition for all of our partners that are involved. So we have conversations going on with the city of Wyoming about what they have been funding, so that we make sure that we're not undercutting any of their community partners and programming.
So I guess the answer then initially is no, there's not a string. It's up to you and or staff to determine what's the recommended allocation. Right.
Correct.
So in that, what is our allocation protocol? How do we determine where to spend this 500,000?
Yep. So actually, we're underway right now with a 5-year strategic plan in our department, and we will forecast out key projects to spend expected HUD community planning and development funding, which includes CDBG, over the next 5 years. So we'll basically target 5 or 6 key goals. So each year we'll decide which projects will accomplish those goals. We are reviewing the city of Wyoming's population. We're in conversations with the city of Wyoming, the community development staff that are working there now as to what they see as priority needs. And like I said, we expect this to be a smooth transition going forward. Annually, we open up an application process for our local governments. I believe it'll be 34 local governments will be partnering with us for CDBG programming. So they can, annually they have the opportunity to apply and propose programs that they think will benefit their local jurisdiction and their community. We typically partner with 3. This will allow us to potentially partner with 4 communities throughout the county, including the city of Wyoming, on projects, and we award anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 towards a public infrastructure project on an annual basis. We open up the same application process for nonprofits to propose programming, and then that is annually decided through a competitive scoring process.
So once we incorporate this into our process, is this the only year this will happen? So going forward after 26, that 500,000 will simply be passed through on whatever the feds determine is our allocatable share?
Yeah, because of the way that these CDBG fundings is awarded, there's a 3-year period of time that the city is allowed to operate its own programming, or cities are allowed to operate their own programming. This will be year 3 of that 3-year period. So HUD has advised that we need to sign a 1-year agreement to operate their funds on their behalf. So that would be the 2026 period. And then after 2026, starting 2027, the city of Wyoming would be a partnering municipality going forward, and will be just like all the other communities except the city of Grand Rapids, which operates its own community development funding.
And finally, can they just say, that didn't work, so we've decided to take the money back?
Every 3 years, the local municipalities that qualify to operate their own programming, which would be the city of Wyoming and the city of Kentwood, it's based on population size, they can determine if they would like to operate the programming on their own, and they would have the opportunity to withdraw from that 3-year partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify, so for the first year, the money would remain spent on Wyoming priorities. So the 500,000, you would take it over, but it would still be spent in partnership with them on their priorities. Going forward after that first year, it would go kind of into the general program, and they would apply like everyone else for the money. Is that accurate or no?
We plan in 2026 to prioritize City of Wyoming projects and with that portion of funding.
Right.
And then going forward, using our normal election process, which our selection process, which City of Wyoming can certainly propose programming. But yeah, so the first year will be a little bit different to try to smooth the transition, and give the city of Wyoming some more, input over what happens in that first grant year.
But again, they're always entitled at the end of that 3 years to say,
Right.
that didn't work out. We've decided to go back to the original.
That's
format."
correct.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this item? No? Okay, seeing none, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes. That takes us to item B from Community Action, KCCA fiscal year 26, MDOT assisted transportation.
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $73,867 in grant funds from the Area Agency on Aging of Western Michigan for the Michigan Department of Transportation Assisted Transportation Program to the 2026 Kent County Community Action Fund budget, contingent upon execution of a contract, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. Summary: the AAA of West Michigan has made $73,867 available to KCCA for programming to deliver assisted transportation services for older adults residing in Kent County. With this funding, KCCA will provide about 2,100 additional rides to help Kent County seniors access critical appointments that support their health, independence, and well-being. The period of performance is October 1, 2025 through September 30, 2026. Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents as to form prior to signature.
Is there a motion for this item? Moved by Commissioner Oliver King, supported by Commissioner Halsted. Questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes. That takes us to item C from Facilities Management, Strategic Capital CIP transfer to the Facility Replacement and Renovation Project for demolition and confirm assignment of project to Building Authority.
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve the transfer and appropriation of $5 million from the Strategic Capital Project in the FY 2026 Capital Improvement Program Fund to complete the demolition of facilities on the Fuller campus and to modify the originally approved Resolution 11/30/23-136 to now also include design and demolition work associated with the new administration building, the project, and confirm assignment management of the project to the Building Authority. Summary: design work is in progress for a new administration building to be located at the site of the now closed former Kent Community Hospital on the Fuller campus. Management of the project is being handled by Kent County Building Authority pursuant to Resolution 06/13/2471. As part of the project, the hospital building must be demolished. Demolition and associated site work is estimated to cost in the range of $4 to $6 million. A request for bids is currently published with proposals due on November 25 of this year. The Kent County Building Authority is prepared to accept all proposals, evaluate the same, and execute and manage the demolition contract and project. The board previously approved Resolution 11/30/23-136, through which it appropriated $8 million for the Facility Replacement Renovation CIP project. Resolution 11/30/23-136 specifically stated the funds were for design work. Use of funds appropriated in Resolution 11/30/23-136 for design and demolition work would allow the county to maintain various project schedules while accommodating known meeting scheduling challenges during late November and December. Once the design and engineering work is completed, additional approval will be needed from the Board of Commissioners to proceed with the construction of the new administration building.
Is there a motion for this item? Moved by Vice Chair McLeod. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Oliver King. Questions or comments? Vice Chair McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. So I just wanted to make sure I'm clear on this. So the resolution that we approved back in '23 was for the $8 million for design work. And so this resolution, this motion, resolution is seeking to change that from just design to design and demolition, correct?
It's looking to add to it.
Add to it. So
Correct.
and the amount's not changing, it's just the purpose of it is changing a bit.
The amount is changing. So the $8 million was for design and for figuring out where exactly to put the facility and that. But we're asking that another $5 million be allocated So it'd be a total of 13
13
million
million.
allocated this far, the original 8 and another 5 for the demolition.
Okay, and just some clarity on the 8 then. So the 8 has been mainly for design work?
Correct.
And so that we're estimating that the full 8 million will be used on the design process?
Ultimately, there will be more.
Okay.
Required for the total project to be used for design.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions, or Commissioner Green?
Just a follow-up to that, Al, so, you can tell me later if we don't have it off the top of your head, but approximately how much of that 8 million have we expended to date on the, design pieces, or is it the entire
I
figure?
don't know, but I know somebody who does.
Warren, Tim?
Good morning. We spent roughly 2 million of the 8 so far, and, some of that was with our initial consultant, and then reusing some of that initial work, and then kind of moving to our new portion on the site.
Good, helpful, thank you very much.
Commissioner Stack?
Thank you, Chair Teal. So if we pass this resolution here and then at the full board, I assume that staff is authorized to proceed to get the bids, tear the building down.
Correct. Well, you're actually authorizing the building authority to get the bids and tear the building down, but yes, staff is also part of that.
All right, so at any rate, the building will come down. But we haven't made the decision definitively as to building a new building out there. So whether we build a new building out there or not, we still want to tear down the building.
Right. Yes, we do.
Okay. So if we tear down the building, our friends at Network 180 prodded me to ask, if all we do is tear down the building, does that include the renovations to the 180 operations that would stay?
Yes, so the demolition of the hospital is currently out to bid. We have an RFP. It's due November 25th. As part of that demolition process, there's a design to both relocate some of the mechanical equipment that is currently in an abandoned stairwell chase that connects Network 180 and the hospital in a shared wall. So those utilities need to move inside the Network 180 building, and then we're also going to use some of the salvaged brick from 1922 that will match the Network 180 building and carefully put that east face of the Network 180 building back together so that architecturally it looks really nice for, hopefully the next 50 or 100 years.
So that's what we're approving. That will happen here too. So my vision of seeing pink walls of the bathroom exposed that's not going to happen.
Correct.
No.
And we are coordinating with Network 180 to be really careful about, when we do that work and, if we can do that on weekends and be really careful with our operations so that they can continue to succeed.
So, and I've raised this before in one of our work sessions to make sure that when we do that, if we're doing that as part of this project, to do the best we can to coordinate that visual impact with what we want to accomplish with the new building.
Any other questions or comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes. That takes us to item D from the Health Department, fiscal year 2023 state and local cybersecurity grant acceptance.
Action requested, approve the transfer of $615,512.56 to the Fuller Campus Clinic Modification Capital Improvement Project in the FY 2026 CIP fund budget from various existing facilities department CIP projects. Summary. The Fuller Campus Clinic modification was established by the Board of Commissioners via Resolution 127-2213 with $3.1 million in proceeds from ARPA. Since then, an additional $800,000 was added to the Fuller Campus CIP from ARPA proceeds, and $400,000 was added to the Fuller Campus CIP from Health Department grant funding. Additional funding is needed in the Fuller Campus CIP to cover furniture, fixtures, and equipment not fully accounted for in the original project, and to cover change orders to confirm improved compliance with HIPAA and better access to service for our customers at the public health clinics in the Environmental Health Department. It is requested that the additional funding be transferred to the Fuller Campus Clinic Modification CIP from existing facilities department CIPs as follows: $70,450.43 from the Human Services Parking Lot Replacement. What part?
This is, that one was taken out.
What?
I wasn't matching up either.
It's supposed to be this one.
Okay, it was in the drop-down one.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I
No,
got
that
to
one
it.
was removed. Go-
Let's see, that's what I clicked on.
That's
No, next one.
that one.
Oh, how'd I get to
That was
that?
just an old one.
Okay, all right, thank you. Wow, that's awkward. Okay.
We'll disregard that.
Yeah, erase, I'll do the Men in Black thing. All right. Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $38,000 in federal grant funds from the Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division of the Michigan State Police to the FY '26 Health Fund budget, contingent upon execution of a contract, and to authorize the board chair or health officer to execute the agreement, approve extensions and amendments, and to authorize the board chair or designee to approve increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. Summary, Kent County has been awarded $38,000 in a one-time grant from Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division of the MSP. The funds will be used to revise current cybersecurity plans to improve capabilities and respond to cybersecurity incidents and ensure continuity of operations. The plans will include continuous testing, evaluation, and assessments. The funds will also be used for staff training to ensure county personnel are appropriately trained in cybersecurity as needed for their position responsibilities. The grant period is 8/29/25 to 8/31/27. Corporate Counsel will review and approve the contract as to form.
Is there a motion for this item? Moved by Commissioner Oliver King. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Green. Questions or comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes. We are on to our last item of the day from Information Technology, fiscal year 2023 state and local cybersecurity grant acceptance.
Okay. Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $150,750 in federal grant funds from the Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division of the Michigan State Police to the IT FY 2026 Special Projects Fund budget for the state and local cybersecurity grant program, contingent upon execution of a contract, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. Summary, Kent County has been awarded $150,750 in one-time federal pass-through grant from the Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division of the MSP. Funds will be used to enhance and improve the overall IT perimeter and endpoint security posture of Kent County. The grant period is 8/29/25 to 8/31/27. Corporate Counsel review and approve the contract as to form.
Is there a motion for this item? Moved by Commissioner Halsted. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Oliver King. Any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes. That is all of our items this morning. Oh, actually, we have miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner miscellaneous this morning? Okay, seeing none, we are adjourned.
Okay, that was weird.